Hi friends, it's Heather here, and I'm glad that we can look at a few verses in the book of Psalms today. And I hope it's been a blessing to you as we've journeyed through the book of Psalms together in our Dwell series. And I love the book of Psalms for so many reasons. You know, I love that we see hurting and broken people who God responds to time and time again. And we get to see who God is and his compassion and his faithfulness to his people. And although I love many of the Psalms, I'm particularly drawn to Psalm chapter 33. And the first verse in this chapter is a joyful call to worship God. And then the rest of the chapter goes on and gives all the reasons as to why we should worship him. You know, and we see that we can recognize the power of God's word in creation, and that God continues to sustain and bring order to his creation. And that we are also anchored in that word, and we are anchored in God's unfailing love. You know, we can worship God. It says he made our hearts and he knows everything about us. And we know that his word is right and true. You know, we can worship God because he's faithful to us, and we can trust him in everything. And we know that God's plans and purposes are being worked out in our lives. We could trust God because he watches over us and he is our protector. And the chapter ends with verses 20 through 22, where it says, "We put our hope in the Lord. He is our help and our shield. In him our hearts rejoice, for we trust in his holy name. Let your unfailing love surround us, Lord, for our hope is in you alone." And I think for me, in these few verses, there's so many defining elements of my relationship with God, and probably a lot of our relationships with God, in the fact that, you know, that God is my help, that he's my shield, my protector, you know, that I can trust him with everything, and that, you know, his love for me is unconditional. And I think, how many times do I not deserve God's love, and yet he gives it to me time and time again. And ultimately, my hope is in him. You know, we live in a world right now that is anything but normal, and we don't know what the future looks like. And, you know, there's unrest and uneasiness in that, and probably some confusion. And yet, when I read these verses, I'm reminded of who God is, you know, that he sees the big picture of what's happening in our lives at any moment in time, and he is going to continue to work it all out for his good, and that God is faithful, that God's love is always there for us, and that we can trust him in the midst of anything that we're walking through. And I'm thankful that, you know, we have hope in him, and that, you know, God is faithful to each one of us. And so I hope that's an encouragement to each one of us to be reminded of who God is and how we can trust him, and that he loves us so much. And so I hope you guys join us for Church Online this weekend, and I hope you have a great day. Blessings.